Let me just push another button here.
Hold on.
Good morning, the hurricane man.
My brother, how are you
Yeah,
doing?
he told you to come with your umbrella.
Yeah, well, that's
Ella, hey.
Listen.
What's up, Sion?
Listen, I ain't worried because the category 2 hurricane you had it.
Don't do
you
that.
say?
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that, bro. Don't do that.
Oh,
Don't do that.
no. You've been downgraded. Sion, what's up, man?
I'm good. I'm really
Why
good
sound
this
like a
morning.
horse to what me in quarantine? You COVID or what?
No, I'm fully vaccinated, and even though being fully vaccinated doesn't mean that I can't contract. It means I would not get deathly ill and then be hospitalized. But I'm fine, and of course I'm only the possibility of getting it is only another 5%. You know what I mean? So I'm pretty okay.
Okay,
Man,
great.
you have your
Great,
stats,
great,
man.
great.
So,
What was-
Sion,
yeah?
I'm not sure if you would have heard a case response, Boucher's response, but we want to ask you about your 2 cents. We want your 2 cents on the Commissioner of Police's or the Royal St. Vincent and Grenadines Police Force response to the letter of notification of the protests that are coming next week.
Well, let me say this, Crystal. I think first of all, unless we contextualize the whole situation, we would miss the boat, and our narrative can be very skewed. So that let's not just look at the response in isolation.
Uh-huh.
So let me start with an analogy. First of all, Gilbert from Leeward, you
Yes,
know,
yes.
and you play like a cricket in the road,
Yes.
government road.
Yes.
Nobody had a problem with that, right?
Yeah,
No,
the government
but-
road is the people road, but continue.
Nobody has a problem with that.
Nobody had a problem with that, right?
Nobody has a problem with that.
But Gilbert, if one day we playing, boom, ball break neighbor window. Next day, boom, ball break neighbor window.
Uh-huh.
Would the neighbor be unjustified in saying, look, guys, you can't pick it anymore now because it's causing damage to my property?
Exactly.
Get them in the
Alright.
front ball.
No.
So they can break a different window.
You have already
Yeah.
you have
No,
already
no.
established.
You put up a different window.
So let's
One
uh-huh,
look out
so
a
they can break
board.
it. So now that I've presented that analogy, let's look at the reality and the fact. The Public Order Act that states and that states exactly how protests have to be done with regard to the Parliament has been there forever. And the last time it was amended by the NDP. The ULP has not touched to amendment the Public Order Act. It's there.
Yeah.
However, with regard to protesting, protests were allowed because they've generally been peaceful. They've been peaceful. We've seen them going back to as far as wherever. You look at the 2000 protests and the fact that since losing government in 2001, the NDP has staged one form of protest or other almost every year. But no restrictions, no issues, no strict application of the Public Order Act because they've been by and large been peaceful.
Yeah.
Quite peaceful. All right. However, within the last couple of months, you've seen an escalation in the attitudes of protesters.
Yes.
You would recognize that even if there are 30 protesters in town, the NDP finds that you're blocking up the road with 30 protesters. They would walk around town, cause congestion.
Uh-huh.
But even so, the police are still monitored it, been quite, accommodating. The last couple of protests, however, have been worse. They've pulled down the barricades. Now, I don't know if Vincentians live in a cocoon, but nowhere else in the world would protesters be allowed to remove barricades, pull them down, and police just stand by and watch. Nowhere.
And that happened here.
And you see the video.
Yeah.
You even saw a video of a parliamentarian going to a police officer trying to influence the police officer
Yeah.
to abandon his post. Now, if you remember, guys, a couple years ago, an ambassador of St. Vincent and Grenadines to the UN was arrested not for pulling down a barricade, but for walking through it.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Who is that?
Camelo.
Crystal,
Yes.
really?
I come on, man, Sion.
I just hinted. I just hinted.
I just want you to say the name.
Okay. So, now, I subsequently went to the UN and I saw the barricades that are put up there by the NYPD, and people walk through them all the time.
Yeah.
But on that particular instance, I'm not sure why Ambassador Gonzalez was arrested for walking through, not pulling down. I see barricades all along, all the time. No protester pulls down barricades.
Yeah.
So you saw the escalation. And then, of course, the vice president of the NDP goes on record and says, look, we are taking the peaceful out of the protest because if you're trying to highlight certain issues, you need to do this to bring attention to the issues you're highlighting. And so the last time there was protest, the peaceful was in fact taken out, pulling down the barricades,
Yeah.
they lit fires,
They threw stones, missiles.
They impeded the movement of the Prime Minister, and they, through violence, caused injury to the head of government. Now again, this country, again being a cocoon, seems to be the only one where an injury to the head of government should be slighted, excuse made, justifications given, and eventually the Prime Minister blamed.
As if he hit him with his own self.
Some people blamed him, some people blamed the commissioner, some people blamed his security detail.
Exactly, except the fact that there was a violent mob and somebody created the violence.
So Sian,
I don't know if you ever noticed now.
you're saying the reason for the violence was because of the protesters. And the
protesters was
PM
violent,
was not responsible for it.
But the protesters were violent. The PM wasn't violent.
Okay.
The protesters were who were violent. They were rioters. They were violent. So if you ever look what is on TV or in real life, whenever an official convoy of the head of government or leader of state is moving, nobody blocks it, Nobody can be allowed to block it. That happened in St. Vincent and Grenada.
Okay.
The protesters blocked it.
Okay.
When it started to alight, they were violent, they were seated.
Okay.
Now, that same group, those same individuals are saying, I want to do another one like that next week.
Really? Hold on,
that's
hold on, right?
I'm holding on.
You are speaking about the NDP in the first instance. The PSU are the ones who said that they are coming out and they are going to host a protest based on the government's stance.
Did the PSU come out last time as an organization?
So who they came out as again?
Yeah, they
But
came
that's the
out.
point.
Yeah, they came
So
out
I'm
as an
saying
organization.
The same people who came out last time
No.
and were
It's
part of the
not the
violent
same.
mob.
It's not
No,
the
it's not the
same
same.
set of people,
Yeah, no,
Sian.
no.
The last time it was the NDP.
Right.
It was also the PSU encouraged persons to
To
take
join,
part,
to
to
join.
join.
Right,
and
right.
it was Rise Haruna. It was
Right.
those three organizations. So it was organized by one set of people, and others, the PSU said, you guys should join. I'm encouraging you to join the
join.
protest.
Right.
This time around, the
Yeah,
PSU, the
is leading it.
PSU, the PSU is the one who is saying that we are going. No, hold on, Sian. The PSU is the one who was saying that they want to go into Kingstown,
Right.
notifying the police that they are going to have a protest and a
Yes.
procession. Nowhere there, and the response from the commissioner also said, or the RSVGPF also said that they have received no other notification
Yes.
from no other organization, from
Yes.
any other organization, just the PSU.
Right.
So it's just the PSU
Okay.
doing this
So
protest.
I'm saying to you that the PSU called the members out on August 5th.
Uh-huh.
They were a part of the rioters crowd.
They were part of the
Okay.
crowd.
They,
Do you think, hold on. Do you think that the people who are a part or being represented by the PSU were the ones who were being violent? Watch the crowd go and tell me.
No, but
No.
he can make that
No,
judgment.
no, exactly.
Conveniently.
No, I don't know. I don't know if you can make that judgment as looking in the post.
I don't think that you should. I don't think, because you see people in uniforms. Yes, please. Yes, please.
There was a crowd of people there.
Yes.
Now, if you're talking about the identifiable individuals who are in uniform, that's one thing. But to tell me that every member of the PSU who was there was in a uniform of customs or whatever would not be correct.
Okay.
So-
It also
so what I'm
wouldn't be
saying is-
correct. It
so
also
if
would
you
not be correct to say that the people who were part of the rowdy crowd, which was a little later on, were also members or being
I am
represented by the
saying it is
PSU.
absolutely correct to say that that members of the Public Services Union were part of the violent crowd. And you can't tell me that they weren't.
No, see,
You-
can't.
you also, you
No,
see,
no,
Sian, you're
you
being
can't make
very
that.
convenient this morning, right?
That's convenient. They were
Gilbert,
there, but
Gilbert.
they won't.
Gilbert,
can't.
they were, Gilbert,
You know, you know
they
people
were
personally.
a part of the crowd.
Yeah, they were part of the crowd, but you can't.
But that's
say
what I'm saying.
you can't paint
But that's what I'm
everybody.
saying.
You can't paint everybody with a broad brush and say that they were
Gilbert,
violent.
all I'm saying are facts. If you looked at the crowd that was there, members of the PSU were part of the crowd.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And was the crowd violent or not?
After
Some-
a time,
some persons, some persons.
they became aggressive.
Some
So,
persons.
so
A
that's my point.
subset
So,
of the crowd.
so the point, but I mean, however you want it to sanitize it and wash it and wash off your hand and bleach it
Well,
out
it's
and so on.
COVID time, so we could do all of that.
Ultimately, it's the same thing. So that the crowd that became violent, that lit, at no point, for example, did you see a situation where all the public servants came out and said, no, we are over here by NBC stand up, by BUSG stand up.
Yeah.
Or the police, the teachers come and say, no, we're over here by Heinz stand up. There was one crowd of people.
Yeah.
All right? So I'm saying to you that all those individuals who were part of that crowd that became violent now is making it difficult for the police to say, look, let me give all the opportunity to do it, because the last time the opportunity was given to a crowd, it became violent. And so
Yeah.
now what you're having is a strict enforcement of the public order that says, you know what, we are not going to allow any more protests that close to the parliament, because that's what the law said. Because the last time we did, it was violent and
But-
it injured the prime
Sian,
minister.
let me
Sian,
ask you
go ahead,
something,
go ahead.
right? If you take an aggressive person, somebody who's really irate and violent, as you say, you move them from one side of the field and put them on the next side of the field, is that going to minimize the fact that that person is violent? If you put a shark in a pool, they ain't going to bite the same way they're going to bite in the sea?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the point is that you're making.
The point is the people became aggressive. Moving them from one place to the next is not going to change the fact that they might become aggressive again. Location does not matter. If they want to be aggressive, if they want to be, if they want to be aggressive, they will be aggressive.
No, Crystal, it does though. It does, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why it makes sense. Because first of all, when you look at Bloody Thursday, when other members
Excuse me?
of
Bloody
Parliament-
Thursday. So that's a new phrase. I'm going to use that phrase.
Yeah,
Bloody
you should.
Thursday. Bloody
When you look at-
yeah, Bloody Thursday.
when you look at Bloody
Sounds
Thursday,
British.
right?
Bloody
When
Thursday.
other members of Parliament, both opposition and government, were able to walk through the crowd.
Yeah.
When the Prime Minister came, you saw the heightened anger and support towards the Prime Minister. Clearly, you understand, or you can infer, that there was a high degree of anger meted out to the Prime Minister. He's the one who's at the boss. So that what I'm saying is, if you put those same people back in the same position,
The
to see
same
the
situation
Prime
is going to
Minister
happen.
coming
Right.
in, then that can happen.
Yeah.
So you move them away from that where they will not have that trigger.
Yeah.
So wherever they are, they're not going to see the Prime Minister coming to the house. They can't stop him and they can't bust the head.
So Marshall, you being
That is the solution.
you've been a parent. You basically
the man, hold on.
You're basically removing
The threat.
the threat, right?
Yeah,
Basically.
but-
So
but- but-
I want to ask you a question.
It's one of two things. It's either you prevent, is either you say, PM, the crowd is going to be there and they're going to be angry so you can't win Parliament. Or you say, as the law says, crowd, you can't be there. Because first of all, the law says you can't be there.
So-
and two, you would not be there to prevent the Prime Minister from getting to Parliament or busting here the second time.
So, question, right? Is it that the police force is incapable of dealing with a crowd in terms of protecting the Prime Minister?
Well, I don't know how we're going to deal with a crowd where somebody's going to play a stone from the middle of a crowd.
You know, come on.
So is it that
You be there,
hold
you know
on,
their
is it that
tactics.
going forward
You know their tactics.
there can be no crowds around the
Around
Prime
the
Minister?
Prime Minister, yeah.
Is
That's
it
what
that
I'm saying.
he cannot have any more political rallies?
Yeah.
He cannot go into his constituency. What if one day he decides to visit a site?
Yeah.
Right? Everybody sees, because you guys would go live, you guys would post photographs. Everybody sees that the Prime Minister is in a certain area, and some people decide to just walk down. 1,000 people decide to just walk down. What will happen then?
Well, first of all, the circumstances are different. When you have a riotous crowd like you had, it's the whole energy, the circumstances, everything is different than if the PM is going to a political rally, which is his people, first of all. If he's going into his constituency. If there is a riotous crowd, of course it becomes more challenging. Look, this year, Crystal, I don't know if you know about this. But
Uh-huh.
This year, the president of France was doing some tours and so forth, visiting different places, and in one of the instances, he went close to the barricades where protesters were,
Uh-huh.
and one slapped him.
Yeah, in
One
France,
protester
in
slapped
France,
him.
in France.
In France, yes. Immediately, this security officers had this guy on the ground.
Yeah.
There was widespread condemnation to that.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the Prime Minister of France says that is an affront on democracy. It only here.
Yes, but he didn't stop. He didn't
But,
stop. He didn't.
but,
he-
but
he
the
didn't-
PM had democracy, yeah?
He didn't stop. Sian,
Yeah,
I want
Nobody
to
has
ask
the
a
right
question.
to do something
I know.
like that.
I also wanna
Gilly,
answer-
hold on. Your final question, and then we're gonna wrap things up.
Oh,
all right?
yeah.
One more thing, though. One more thing. I just have to say that the person who filmed the video of the president getting slapped, his home was searched and he was arrested and charged.
He was. He
Really story.
he injured the
So
president.
the one who recorded, the one with the phone who recorded the video, that's how he was doing record the video. He captured the
Oh.
video. Read the
Wait,
story.
posted. Okay.
Read the
Sian,
story.
I just want to ask you, right? So we spoke to Boucher earlier, and Boucher said that this protest is being led by the unions, and I know the government in powers, the ULP, you guys are pro-labor, pro workers, Do you think that they should be more sympathetic to the cause of the workers airing their grievances?
But I don't think there's any government in this country that listens more to the worker and have been more pro worker.
Yeah.
The point is though that where this is concerned, and I'm not sure exactly what the protest is, because Boucher was telling he's vaccinated. Friday vaccinated. So exactly what are you protested?
So
Are
you saying
protesting
they're not
Sian, you
representing
cannot
the
say
cause?
at this time that you don't know why the people protesting.
Yeah. Do you know why they're protesting?
That is just sarcasm at its
No,
best.
Do you know why they're protesting?
What exactly is it? What is exactly? Because
They're
the thing is-
protesting against the vaccine.
You do well to answer, Sian.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Hold on.
Sian, I want like you don't know. So you don't know what they're protesting for.
So hold on. They're protesting against the vaccine. That's what they're protesting against.
Okay, carry on.
I'm gonna leave it at that. You hear?
Yeah,
We're gonna
I
wrap
know.
things up.
See, and
I
tell
mean,
you.
Come on, man.
Thank you for-
You're dodging the point. You're
Hold
dodging
on,
the point.
hold on. Boucher put up the vaccine is leading a protest against the vaccine. That's what you're telling me? Okay, thank you. Crystal, we really should come to the truth. We really should.
What's that?
Sian,
Sian, really?
Listen, we should really leave it here.
Yeah,
yes,
leave it
yeah.
there. Leave it there.
Leave on a
Let's
high.
leave it there.
Leave on a high. I am not gonna answer that. Okay.
No more. No.
Okay.
By
Okay,
the way,
Sian.
by the way, let
Yeah.
me just say.
Final word, yeah?
That the regulation that deals with the vaccination of the proposed regulation that deals with the vaccination of frontline workers is currently in draft and it's available widely. It's available on gov.bc, so you can download it and see exactly what it says.
Okay.
That is in draft now to allow for public consultation and comments to be submitted to the AG by the 8th of September.
Right.
And then, so that I wish people would go and read the regulation that is there.
Gov.bc.
Yes, gov.bc. Go
All
download
right.
it, read it, see what it says for
Okay.
yourself.
All right.
And that is the public regulation
Right.
that the government hopes to bring into force that deals with the vaccination of frontline workers during specific to, and this is also important, the regulations only have teeth as long as the public health emergency exists.
Okay.
If the WHO says there's no more public health emergency,
Then-
then that vaccination issue.
But COVID
becomes-
is going to be around, so you say
All
this
right.
is forever?
No, but because it can be around. Just like the flu is still around, but it may not still be a
Yeah.
pandemic or public health emergency.
Okay.
And so once that
Emergency is the
closed,
key, is the operative word
yes,
there.
once
Mhm.
that exists no longer, then the regulation exists no longer.
All right, my brother.
All right.
Take
Thank
care.
you. Thank you so much. Have a
good.
wonderful day. Jesus. Boy, I tell you
I am
about
going to drink more coffee.
I tell you about the wake up call on a Thursday morning. Bear
This is
drama, bear
real drama this morning, boy.
All right,
It's
we
like,
gotta
oh.
take a quick break. Dr. Thompson is on the inside.
He's here?
Don't
Okay.
worry, we're switching it up. We're gonna get a little high.
Yeah.
All right, for the final 30 minutes, the 29 minutes or so, right here on the wake up call on X104.1.